Hi everybody! So I've been plotting and planning how I wanted to start this series of videos for probably a year now. I've had some really amazing professors who introduced me to the world of critical analysis, and I started to see that a lot of those theories and ideas could be applied to video games. I'm not alone in this. A number of students have seen similar possibilities and written tons of essays on the analysis of games and their meanings. For this first video, I wanted to treat it like an introduction to a course. I wanted to talk to you guys about how this process works and what some of the differences and similarities that crop up from applying theories meant for literature on visual forms of entertainment. The big difference I'm sure most of you will gather is one is a video game and one is a book, two forms of media that are experienced in different ways. The big similarity between the two, however, is that both require a lot of writing and editing. Probably the most interesting aspect of this process is going to be the fact that while in a book everything is described to us, while in a video game we take in the setting and colors for ourselves while experiencing the game. This doesn't mean that the setting isn't as important, but we as a player have to pay closer attention to these details versus in a book where there might be a particular emphasis on something that the writer wants us to see. A good example of in-game symbolism would be the scene in Final Fantasy VII when Sephiroth kills Aerith. Spoilers. The cutscene focuses on the materia falling from her bow and bouncing into the water out of reach. Now, we know it's important because the scene is focused on it, but we don't know why until later. And then we can gather that this imagery is symbolic for the loss of hope, that the one thing that could possibly save the world is lost. Even further, the fact that the materia slips away into water, and that's important too. Water is a source of life, taking away the world's one hope and possibly dooming it to destruction. This, of course, is just an example of symbolism and how we can draw meaning from abstract ideas based on previous uses of symbols, like water. I had to make myself look beyond everything while reading. It might not even have something deeper, but taking the time to examine the scene and the actions can result in a better understanding of something, as well as a more enjoyable experience. Someone you'll probably hear me refer to often is William Faulkner. I took a course on just his work, and it was the most eye-opening for me in terms of study. A favorite saying in that class was, "It's never just this." We would say that when we got stuck on a passage, because in Faulkner, a tree is never just a tree, and water is never just water. We can also use references as a way to infer meaning from a game. Something like naming a character after a mythological character can be used as a way of character building as well as imply actions and ideas that the character will take part in. It can also address the situations around a character. Look at Nidhogg in Final Fantasy XIV. He is a dragon who seeks the destruction of Ishgard more than anything. In Norse myth, he is a dragon who gnaws at the roots of the world tree. The two are not dissimilar. While they are two different characters, the dragon in 14 takes part of his character and situation from the Norse myth. He is gnawing away at the Ishgardians, trying to bring about their end for the crimes their ancestors committed. Similar to the way Nidhogg is portrayed in Norse myth, where his name was also a term for a social stigma that implied loss of honor or being a villain. Hard not to decide that this character is meant to be a villain when his name literally means villain. This is just a really small taste of some of the things that we're going to be discussing in this series of videos that I'm going to work on. We're going to examine classic, well-known scenes in gaming, as well as dig into some of the more obscure, lesser-known games and take a look not only at what we can get from analyzing video games, but also what makes a great story in the medium of video games. I really hope that you guys will enjoy these. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun making them and talking about them, and this is going to be an interesting journey, to say the least. So make sure to stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye!